There we go. Audio working. Perfect. So, I'm already feeling good. I'm already feeling extremely good on this Monday morning. I've got legs, and I've got something to say about that. But even just on the drive here, I'm not one to, I don't know. I'm not one to always want to rely on, like, anything external for motivation. Like if I get in the car and it's super rainy or just like gross and humid, foggy out, I'm not going to drive to the gym thinking, the weather's bad. It's not going to throw me off. But I will get a little bit of a mood boost if the weather's nice. So it's sunny. It's early. It's not too hot, not too cold. Outside temp 73, as it should be. I'm getting over this 85. My natural temperature outdoors 70 is about right. 70 is about good. And even right now, that's probably a little bit higher than I would like because I'm kind of dieting. I'm not like hardcore prep dieting, but I am getting a little bit leaner over these next few weeks. So I'm a little more acclimated to warmer temperatures. Like if I'm fully bulked, if it's 70 out, I'm probably going to be drenched in sweat within a matter of not seconds, but definitely minutes. You put me out in the sun, I'm just freaking cooking. But saw two big ass hawks, which is just, it's become a thing on my drive here. It's the same sort of fields and plains on these power lines. Now there's two of them. I think they've uncovered a good supply of vermin and other random shit. I'm like 80% sure I saw one swoop down and catch something. I can't be sure because it was too far away by the time I passed them. But one is like huge, and the other one's a little more normal sized. They're both red-tailed, but this big one, I mean, not incomparable to. It's probably still smaller, but it's still huge. Maybe not bald eagle huge, but it's still huge. And they're on the hunt. They're constantly on the fucking hunt. And you know what? So am I. So am I. I'm on the hunt just for a pump, not so much for prey. That's I guess the prey would be myself. So that's kind of like this internal sort of struggle or whatnot. But already thinking about what the leg workout is going to look like. I'll see how I'm feeling, because I want to hit hams and quads, but I'm not sure how I want to divvy up the volume between the two, because from the last leg day, if you watched it, all I recorded was some of the leg press sets. The video part got cut a little bit short, but I did this basically a hip press where it was like a stack loaded leg press. But it made me think today that I think that my hip press over in the corner dungeon is going to feel really good. Now, the thing about that movement compared to a squat or like a hack squat especially, is it gets a lot more hamstrings involved. Like if I camp out on, I've done it before. I used to go to American Barbell every heavy leg day 2 years ago on my whatever off season that was, because they had a hip press. And I wanted to use it every freaking, every day during that bulk. And if I didn't warm up my hamstrings properly enough, no, I'm not doing 10 plates today. But at the time, I was doing like 11 plates for sets of 10 on that machine. There's so much hamstring involvement that I could feel if I would pull my hamstring a little bit if I didn't warm them up enough. Now, not like a full-on like rip and tear, but just like a little pull where you say, just a little scare. So if I do a few sets of that today, then I know that's going to be working my hamstrings. So I feel like if I start with maybe 4 or 5 sets of hamstring curls, laying, seated, standing, just some of those as essentially the meat of the hamstring sets. And then by the time I move on to quads, start with a set of leg extensions, or maybe even just warm up with leg extensions and start with that hip press. If I do 4 or 5 sets of hip press, well then for one, my quads are getting wrecked, but I'm also adding some stimulus to my hamstrings, right? So I think that seems like the approach. I'll see how I feel once I get in there. Right now, I feel pretty spry, hydrated, well rested. I got some oatmeal in my system before this, so I'm probably gonna be sweating pretty good since I've got some carbs in my system. But if I get on the hip press and I feel, I don't know, maybe my knee's a little tender, or I've got like an ankle thing or whatever. Now, normally I don't, but if I did, well, I've got two options, right? Who cares if it hurts? I'm still gonna do it. Or the smart option, I better not tweak that any further. Let's back off, right? And don't confuse that backing off with anything other than the tactical necessary retreat that it is, right? No one wins when you're warming up for a heavy bench and you can feel something. Your shoulder's kind of crazy, like you're feeling something in your rotator cuff. Well, you just told your buddy you were about to go for 285 for 10. And then, you rip something, or you just hurt yourself, or whatever. And even if it's not that serious, just to leave the gym in a worse physical state than you came into it, not good. And I've done it, I'm not sure how many times, probably upwards of 20. Now, to a degree, it just happens. If you're lifting weights consistently, there's always some risk of random injury. Some guys, dudes who you would say are like train very smart, like you'd say they train smarter than me. I'll see videos. The guy's like, yeah, I warmed up for chest and I don't know what happened. Boom, ripped his pec off. Right? So I'm not trying to scare you, but sometimes shit happens. It's not always on you. But when it is, and you get that little warning signal of like, ooh, right? You've got that little red light blinking telling you, my rotator cuff's going a little. It's in your best interest to say, shit, all right, let's back off, And I have not always thought that. I have not always been able to say, hey, you know what? Nah, I'm not doing it. I'm going to hold off. I'm just do light stuff today. I've definitely said, whatever, get whatever song I'm playing going and still hit it anyway. And sometimes nothing happened, but I've definitely had times where I left saying, So I try to avoid that now. I haven't done that for a little while, and I do not intend to. On my priority list, non-injury is up there. Non-injury is up there just as much as the badass workout is up there. And that kind of goes outside the gym as well. If you're more, now I'm not saying casual as in if you're a high school lifter and you're still doing sports, let's say you're in college and you're playing lacrosse or something and you're working out and you're pretty fucking athletic, my athleticism has dropped dramatically as my bodybuilding progression has progressed. But if you're decently athletic, well then, yeah, man, go skiing or water or whatever, or tubing But if you get bigger, like anybody who's serious, kind of substantial bodybuilder size, just be careful, right? I'm a lot more careful outside the gym as well, because as much as I would feel like a fool hurting myself during a workout, it would be way worse if I had a pretty substantial injury completely unrelated. Then I would just feel like a total fool. So I'm going to try my best not to do that as well. But the sun is shining. I can feel the UV charging me up. Not the same as like a Superman, but maybe just a little bit. So now there's nothing to stop me from killing my legs but me. So I think let's just stop talking about it and get in there. All right, before we get started, go ahead and look that up. It should be in focus. Baki OVA, we own it. I tell you something, this'll get you going. And if it doesn't, well, whoop-de-doo. It's getting me going. So let's go crazy on hamstrings. My goal is to leave 0 in the tank. Whew. Ooh. Ha. Yeah. Okay, that's decent. Let's do that again. Oh. Oh, I gotta go a little lighter. Let's do 80 for this next one. No. Oh. Oof. Duh. Ooh. Poof. Nah. Huh. Duh. Come on. Oof. Ah. Oh. Okay. Let's do one seated curl. And then I think we're ready for quads. Come on. Okay. Oh. Ooh. Ugh. Oof. Ugh. Pooh. Ugh. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's get quads started. So this is going to act as both a working set, but also a quad primer. So sometimes I'll jump the leg extension, 10 reps each side, warm up, or even just do double leg and just do like 100 pounds for a few, 150, 200. So I get my quads warm and then I jump on a squat or something. But since I'm not going crazy heavy, I'm not trying to reserve any strength. So I think starting with 2 of these will be good. So only 100 pounds, more than light enough for me to handle. So here's how I'm gonna execute. So each leg, 10 reps. So 10, 10, 10, 10. Maybe, let me think. I might do 5. But let's assume 10. 10 on each side. At the top, let's assume that, let's just look at the leg here. At the top of every rep, I'm gonna get full extension, and I also want a little extra moment of like oomph, of like let's say if you could add a force measuring readout on my quads, it would be enough weight to lift the weight, and then at the top, there would be a spike in force because now I'm just adding extra tension. Even though it's not moving the weight any further, it just adds to the quality of the reps. It's like if you're doing pec deck, if you do a set where you just bump your fingers versus one where you touch them, squeeze for a second. Right. Now, obviously, if you go to failure both ways, it's still a good set. But on a rep per rep basis, the one where you get a little hold squeeze, even just for like a moment, I think those are a little more intense. So let's get real. Come on. Holy crap. All right, let's do some hip press. 8 plates is, I'm feeling it. Let me make sure. 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah. Let's just say this will be a good one, and I will probably drop a plate for the next set. Whoa. Okay. All right, I lied. Let's do the same weight and just see how many sets of 10 I can do. And I'm trying not to hyperextend my knee. Did you see that? That was a little freaky. It wasn't gonna bend, but like, Some leg presses you can lock out. This one, I would not. This, don't even think about it. Oh, a few more. All right. All right. This isn't a bad song, but I want to switch it up. Whoa. All right. Yeah, there we go. Call Me by Nav. That's a good one. Come on. Whew. 2 more minimum. This machine is fucking sweet. If you've got a gym where you might be able to influence them, the owner, on what to buy, any style hip press like this, where the weight isn't on a sled, rather on a pendulum, it's fucking sweet. Because it gets lighter at the bottom. So I feel like I can get a really deep stretch, like way deeper than a squat, but I don't feel like I'm going to get crushed. Like on a regular leg press, sometimes I feel like my stomach's going to explode from all the force like pushing into me. But here, since it's lightest at the bottom, I can get my knees almost up to my shoulders and I don't feel that discomfort. And my knees feel sweet. Like if I was squatting at the equivalent weight, let's say I might feel in my knees a tiny bit. Not a ton, like my knees are good, but this, no discomfort. So, let's run it back. All right. Come on. Okay. One more. Oh, shit. That rest day yesterday did me good. Let's put my feet slightly narrower for this one. my gosh. Okay. All right. Let's finish with a leg extension sissy squat superset. And then we're good. Oh my gosh. This is heavy, but I actually feel pretty strong for 8 plates on this. And that felt good too. Like sometimes when you go a little heavier, it's just, might be a little tenderness involved. Nothing today, which would make sense. I did take a rest day yesterday. Oh, oh my God. All right. So I would not mind if this was the finisher, but if I can tell I can get a little more juice into my quads, then I'll do 2 of these. Let me pick a better song. Do you have any recommendations? Yeah, you probably haven't heard this. Off Air, Night Level, something. It's pretty good. Might not be for everybody though. Yeah, let's do some double leg. Let's do a Jekyll and Hyde style. Come on. Ooh. Ooh. Ah. Ah. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Holy shit. Okay. Let's go see how legs are looking. And I'll explain what I mean by a Jekyll and Hyde set. All right. Now that's what I call a pump. I'm drenched in sweat. That was a good amount of volume as well. Hamstrings, 5 working sets directly, but also 4 sets of that hip press, which I think added, maybe definitely the equivalent of at least a little bit of hamstring work. And what? So 2 leg extensions. So 2 leg extensions, 4, yeah, 7 sets of quads. That's about freaking right, I would say. Ooh, but let's see how those sets accumulated in terms of a pump. And I tell you something, even without looking, like I haven't looked yet, should be good. Yeah, see, what are we talking about? Actually, give me a moment. I gotta back up a touch. Mind the technical difficulties. All right. Whoops. There we go. Out of focus. In focus. Nice. Boy. I feel like especially this right one, the width of this upper outer quad is getting pretty substantial. I mean, same thing over here, but that's one part of my quads where they insert differently. Is my right one has more outer quad mass up in this quadrant, and the left one has a little bit less so. And I'm not certain what could have caused that. It's potentially from diving as I was younger. Because what you do is you get in a diving board, you stand at the back of it, let's say I'm about to do a quadruple fucking flip, little step, kind of a double leg jump like this, and then all my weight would go on one leg for a fucking big bounce. So I think my right leg is still a little ahead of the game from all that work when I was younger. But just standing, I mean, I don't really notice, which is good for me. So let's see how we're looking from the side. Yeah, that's a pretty substantial amount of thickness. And even just standing, this is one thing I like to see, is like my hamstrings protruding out the back. They've lost a little bit of their pumpness since they were fully pumped, right after those first 2 sets of hamstrings. But they're still there. They are still there, freaking rocking. So that was good. Now that wasn't as insane as like a screaming 6-plate squat, 10-plate leg press bonanza. But as a dieted, flat leg day, I have absolutely 0 fucking complaints. And that might have actually been a little bit more than necessary. This isn't very cool to say, but when you're dieting, the difficulty in the gym to maintain your build is a little bit less intense than it is to have developed it in the first place, right? So for me to sit here and do a leg day just so that I can maintain my quad gains that I already have, I mean, honestly, just leg extensions and some leg curls has worked pretty well for me in the past. I think I'm missing out if I don't do some leg press at least every other leg day. Like if in 4 days I feel pretty fresh quad wise, I might still back off when it comes to any leg pressing just because I did leg press pretty substantially today. So even when I'm bulked, like tons of food, my recovery is up to here, I'm sleeping like a baby because I got so many carbs in my system, I can't really squat or do like really crazy quad days twice a week. I found that if I do, I end up getting tweaks. I end up getting like hamstring, knee, like upper quad. Like it just the fatigue accrues just because if I really bring it on a quad day, it's going to require some heavy leg press, some good leg extension, some sissy squats and whatever. And if I do another one 3 days later, well, over time, I start tweaking stuff. And the simple answer to that for me has just been just do quads once a week. Do like a full leg day, hardcore quads, maybe slightly more chill hamstrings. And then the next leg day, have that just be hamstrings exclusive and then really destroy my hamstrings because I'm not doing any quads. I found that works pretty well for me. But if you can go crazy on legs twice a week and you're recovering well enough and you're not building up any like fatigue in your joints or your tendons or whatever, well, then keep doing that, right? Don't let me fucking stop you. I was thinking something earlier. Oh yeah, I just remembered. So you tell me what you think about this because I get a lot of comments. I guess not a lot, but enough. I get enough comments of this sentiment that I think it's worth referencing. And the comment is essentially like this. It says, Sam, if 2 or 3 reps shy of failure will elicit the same results as true insane failure, well then why do you prefer the more fatiguing route? So based on that logic, the guy is saying, why are you doing those extra reps at the end if holding some in the tank will give you the same results, right? Why are you overdoing it? Why are you training that hard if you don't actually need to? And for one, I would say, I think those extra reps are more stimulating and are more productive than holding back a touch. But it's on a more personal note, like let's assume that's actually true. Let's assume that 2 reps shy of failure is actually just as stimulating as full failure or, whatever. My first thought is, how easy do you think it is to hit real failure? Like on some of those hamstring sets, I think I was just about at full failure. Hamstrings I find very easy to take that far because and this is something I'm better at now, I used to get an insane lower back pump on the laying curl. Because every time I would do it, I would arch and use my glutes to swing my whole body into the movement. Now I relax everything except for my hamstrings, and I feel it's so easy, or not easy, but achievable to get to the point where my hamstring just will not physically move anymore. And in doing so, that guarantees that I bring it, right? Now, if you're the guy to hold back and to say, ooh, let's leave some in the tank. Ooh, let's leave 3 or 4 in the tank. Well, you're already setting yourself up to get as far away from failure as possible because, for one, I think it's a little bit pretentious to assume that you can perfectly estimate where your failure number is and then go 3 or 4 reps before that. But also, it's like, dude, even when I do try to go to failure, I don't think it's true failure. You know, it depends on the movement. I can definitely do a set of squats where I'm not getting 1 more rep, you know. And that's when I might rack it. Like if I do 10 reps on a crazy set of squats and that last one was like, you know, I'm dying, well, I'm probably gonna rack it. I might go for 1 more if I'm really on it that day, but normally I would just rack it. I would know there's no way I got 1 more. But on like curls or pec deck or things like that, if I were to have like a cloned version of myself or like a duplicate that was Frankenstein controlled by a computer, like electrodes on his muscles or whatever. So let's call this Frankenstein Sam right here. And all his muscles were controlled electronically. If we both go head to head and we grab, you know, let's say a pair of 40-pound dumbbells and we're doing incline curls. So there's no swinging, you know, you're sitting on the incline bench, up to the top, squeeze for a moment, repeat. Frankenstein Sam is totally going to get more reps than I'm capable of because my brain's probably going to stop me, like that pain index and whatever. Like I can only really get so far. So assuming that that's the case, I don't want to call it short. I don't want to give myself this credit of like, ooh, I know that I can really only bring it here. Like, no, I need to find out. That's an unknown, right? When I grab a pair of 50s, I've got an estimation. You know, I've got a guess. If I get under, you know, a Smith bench or dumbbells, I've got an idea of what I can do, but I really don't know until I actually do it, until I actually make it happen and see what I'm capable of. And then that's angle number 2 is just the mindset of the guy who's trying to bring it that hard versus the one who's going to hold back, right? In what world does holding back ever let you win, right? I like making like an MMA fighting analogy. Obviously, I've got no fighting skills, but just the idea of it is fun. So imagine I'm up against whoever. What are the odds that I'm going to win if I say, ooh, let's only give it 60%? No, man. I'm going to go all fucking out. That's my best bet to win is if I give it everything I have, or at least I try to, you know? And that's a skill which is developed over time with your training because as much as it is physical, like your strength is just a physical adaptation that changes, it's also a mental state. It's also a mental comfort, or I guess comfort with discomfort, where you're actually able to handle the pain and like the difficulty and the, you know, just all the negative signals telling your body that your body's telling your mind, don't do this shit, right? I mean, I'm used to it now, but I used to get like excitedly anxious about squats. Once I started really getting heavy up in the 5-plate range, the day after a leg day, I'd still be getting nervous about the next one because that insane just neural load and like compression of fucking 500 pounds on your shoulders, that was so nuts that like I would be nervous, like, holy shit, I got legs in 3 days. Like I wanted to do it. It wasn't like I was scared of it. Like I was excited, but it was like, things are about to get fucking real. No music, no nothing. I'm sitting in front of the rack. I'm looking at the weight. I'm trying to chase that fear again. Like I want that feeling because it makes you, at least in the moment, it made me perform like crazy. Here, give me a moment to swap batteries. But now I don't have that fear so much because I'm kind of used to it. I've hit that much weight before. It almost feels a little bit more regular, which I guess is kind of just comes with the territory of being more used to pushing yourself to what at least I try to get as close to my max effort is it gets easier, right? Even though it gets harder, it gets easier. And this is kind of like a roundabout thought, but you tell me what you think here. I think the guy who can really accustom himself to bringing it and really just say 100% effort is my bar. Any less than that would be surprising. Any less than whatever I can actually bring to the fucking table should be a little bit disappointing. And it might actually bring up like, is something wrong? Like, why am I not full throttling right now? Is something going on that's making me hold back? And if there is, then, maybe solve whatever that thing is. But the guy who can just bring it like normal, like waking up and putting his socks on, well, he's got no choice to make progress. It is not a question that he will continue to progress mentally in terms of his capability and exertion, but obviously physically in terms of his actual results. Because for him, the bar is here. And this is where he's used to, right? Straight out of Suits, right? Most people are like this, right? We like it like this. And if you can get used to that, well, then training no longer becomes a chore. I've never really felt like it has been, even as I was like a 160 pounder. But it doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like an activity, right? It's just something you do. For somebody to be trying to learn how to play the guitar or something, or just some kind of very, what's the word? Dexterity-based skill, to actually learn it is pretty fucking hard. Like, there's a lot of skill and practice involved. There's no chance you're going to shred within 10 weeks. I don't know. I've never learned how to do that before, but it's going to take a minute. But if that guy can just say, all right, well, you know what? I'm practicing for an hour. I'm practicing for 1 hour every fucking day. You know what's going to happen in a year? You know what's going to happen in 2 years? I mean, if I actually sat and had, I guess I'd probably need a teacher or look up on like online lessons or something. But if you put an hour into something every day and you're actually present and really trying to do it, dude, after a year, you're going to be way different, right? You're going to be a freaking, beast at whatever that thing is. So it's not so much that what you're doing is important, but it's more so how consistent and how easy can you make that consistency for yourself become, right? Because you can drudge your way through workouts, like someone who's never lifted before, New Year's resolution or type, like, you know what, this year I'm bringing it. Or somebody who's got a pretty substantial amount of body fat to lose, they've got a challenge in front of them. And it's going to be hard to achieve, especially in the beginning. They're not used to the training, right? I mean, 30 minutes of cardio for me at this point has become very easy because I do it so much. But in the beginning, I mean, shit, man, I'll have some cardio sessions where I'm really pushing myself and it gets pretty hard. But if you've never done it before, it's extra hard. But once you get used to it and you actually just keep showing up and it just becomes your status quo, well, then it no longer becomes something you have to push yourself extra hard to do. Sometimes it just becomes something you catch yourself doing, right? Like there's a lot of, you tell me, but there's a lot of time that gets spent completely passively. Even if you're doing something actively, like if you're actually, kind of focused on something, you're not just sitting in bed on your phone. Maybe you're listening to a podcast or you're listening to a show or something. Sometimes I'll just listen to a movie. If I'm just running around doing random chores or whatever. Like I've seen it before, so I'm just kind of, I don't need to watch it, but I can kind of hear it or whatever. And I could spend 2 hours, maybe I folded some laundry, put some stuff away or whatever, or cleaned up or moved some stuff in the, whatever. But I wasn't really actively present for any of it, So if we're already kind of blowing time where we're just running an autopilot, then if you can get stuff like this, which is really productive and positive, where it no longer feels like a challenge and you just get used to it, well then, you're passively investing, or you're passively, it's like generating a passive income in a way, because you're just going to do it. It's a guarantee. There's no question. You're just going to keep showing up. And before you know it, it's just, I guess what I'm really getting at is it just becomes something you get to enjoy rather than this hard, difficult trial, right? Now, in the beginning, for some, it will definitely feel like that. But once you get to the point where you're comfortable in the space, which is partially just you're comfortable in your own head about yourself being in the space of the gym. It doesn't really, like now, I feel like if I'm like imagine being who am I thinking of? Not a Mike Tyson, but imagine being a really high level boxer that people know. If you show up to any boxing gym in the fucking world, or at least in the States or something, well, you're going to feel pretty damn comfortable. That's your natural habitat. So I guess let me try to just sort of put a pin on all this. But I want to feel like the gym is my natural habitat. Like this is where I belong. This is a space where if you see me, it is no surprise. You know? And that's how I like it. That is how I fucking like it. And it lets me perform and really bring it. And then I get the best of every world. Progress, the enjoyment of the training. I mean, it's just fucking sweet. Now, that's definitely what's the word? Not a badge of honor, but that's definitely something that comes with having done something for years on end. I'm coming up on just about 8 years of training. So if you've been lifting for 8 years, you should be pretty good at training. You know, it should kind of be implied. But I'm going to go ahead and pack it up, and then I am headed home. But let's jump in the car. Car talks are fucking back. Not that they were gone. It was only like a few days where I didn't do a car talk post-workout. But yeah, it's just a little, I'll talk about it later. But either way, let's get out of here. I am very happy with that leg day. All right. Yeah, so my pre-workout carbs was actually early as heck. Yeah, you thought I was going to say hell, didn't you? Not early as heck. So, this has happened twice. Like, this has happened for the last 2 leg days, which is making me think it's some sort of pattern. But yesterday, stuck to my macros, 2,600, as expected. It was a rest day, of course. So maybe I wasn't as hungry because I didn't train. All I did was an hour of cardio in the morning, which still counts as something. But even an hour of cardio on the bike is not the same fatigue of like a lift. So, I mean, I really wouldn't expect to wake up like extra sore or anything just because I spent an hour on the bike. But went to bed pretty early, like 10. 10's pretty good for me. That's not bad. That's if I can do that on the regular, that'd be cool. I want to get blackout blinds though. Set something up so that the bedroom is actually like pitch black, just to, you know, kind of helps with your REM, I think. But either way, wake up at like 3, go to the bathroom, and I knew I've got legs in the morning, which obviously has now already happened. So go down to the kitchen, 5 packs of instant oats, frozen fruit, 40 grams of carbs worth of brown sugar. So I carved up on like 200 grams of carbs last night. I counted that towards today's macros. So my carb intake for today is already at 190 from that morning carbs. And honestly, not a bad routine. Wake up, carved up, but also rested. Get after it and kill legs. Hell yeah. I did not feel like I was low on energy today. I was definitely sweating because it was so freaking hot, but I did not feel like I was running on fumes. So I don't think that's something I should plan. Like, I'm not gonna set an alarm to wake up in the middle of the night and eat something, especially when I'm dieting. But before a leg day, especially if you're gonna hit something in the morning, not a terrible. I mean, the setup, since I was already awake, worked out pretty good. But, you know, I think you should, this depends. I got one comment from the Q&A, which I answered. I forget what the guy's username was, but he said, "What the hell do I do to gain weight?" was the gist of the question. It's like, dude, I hate eating. Now, if you have trouble gaining size, which I feel like is kind of the easiest part, especially now, food is so, I mean, it's scientifically designed to make you want more of it, which is it's kind of some bullshit, right? I mean, somebody's job, he is a professional at making snacks more snackable so that you want to eat more of them, right? It's kind of nuts. But either way, even if you do just not have a huge appetite, I'm not sure which are those hormones like ghrelin and I forget what's it's glucagon like, so like the GLP, like Retta, like that's also this hormone that gets released, I think, in your stomach. I don't know the full pharmacology, but it essentially gives you that feeling of I'm full. I am full right now. I don't need to eat more. And then ghrelin is that I don't know if the proper word is hormone, but it signals like, dude, you're fucking hungry. Go eat something. So some people just might have a different sort of imbalance, right? Some guys can scarf down food like nothing, and then other dudes are just like 5% body fat year round. They don't even work out. They're just not that hungry. So it's kind of a spectrum. Both comes with their own benefits and drawbacks. But if you're somebody who has trouble grubbing, then I would recommend a few things. Drinking calories, so that would mean shakes. I guess that would mean shakes. So slamming a protein shake instead of eating a big bowl of ground beef. I think whole proteins are gonna beat whey. Like if I had to pick one only to consume, and it was either meats or whey protein, I'm gonna pick the meats. But whey is still good, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. If you're personally like really sensitive to dairy, maybe chill out on the whey protein. I know you can get beef-based protein where instead of being derived from whey and milk, it's coming from actual beef. So if you're like totally lactose intolerant, anything with dairy totally screws you. Maybe look some of that up. That might do the trick for you. Tastes kind of funky. It depends where you get it, I guess. But drinking calories, so shakes, maybe doing a fucking sugar shake. I've done that before, but you're probably better off with more, or I guess less glycogen or blood sugar spiking carbs. Like when I start growing later in this year, I'm not just going to start eating a bunch of fucking Skittles and treats. I'll have some, of course, but the majority of my carbs, I want to be very plain, like oatmeals, cream of rice, cream of wheat, things like that. Stuff that isn't like going to totally shoot my blood sugar to the ceiling, because it kind of throws you off, and it like changes your energy levels throughout the day. I think sugar gets demonized, but maybe don't eat all your carbs from sugars. But yeah, drinking calories, having very calorie dense meals. This is one thing I'd recommend. You tell me if you like it or not. You take a bagel, cover that thing in cream cheese. I'm talking like half a brick, and do a bunch of salami or something. So that'll be more calories from fats, of course. But if you've got trouble getting calories in, well, fats are pretty dense. A gram of fats has 9 calories, whereas a gram of carbs has 4. All right, so if you eat 100 grams of fats in your day, that's 900. If you eat 100 grams of carbs, that's 400. All right, so the calorie per gram is higher with fats. Tricky part there is, I don't think you want to eat too many fats, or else you kind of just feel like greasy and gross. At least I do. When I start growing, I want to keep my fats low. I feel like that's better for me. But if you can't gain weight, then sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So things like that. But what I was getting into, this whole roundabout whatever, was maybe have a shake ready in the middle of the night. I haven't had to do this, but if you really just have trouble getting food in, then maybe mix up a protein shake, blend it with maybe 2 instant packs of oatmeal or 3 or whatever, leave it in the fridge, and then maybe just put ice in it or something and leave it next to your bed before you go to sleep. You set an alarm for, I don't know, whenever. Wake up, slam it, go back to sleep. That could be an easy extra 500 calories. That's not really a SAM recommendation. That's kind of more of a hypothetical, because I've never had to do that. But, fuck, man. I mean, if you're just feeling full all the time from nothing, then you got to just start scarfing it down. And at some point, it's as simple of a tip to just say, you just got to thug it out. Because there's definitely tricks. You can definitely make some shakes, and make sure that the meals you're eating are very well sauced. So if you're eating a big bowl of let's say ground beef and rice, I'm not just gonna put like cayenne pepper and paprika on that. I'm going to put a crap ton of like barbecue sauce or sugar-free something or whatever, and really get the whole thing, you know, sauced up, because it's way easier to eat foods that are moist, because you're not going to sit there chewing and like salivating extra to, you know, get into a swallowable state. Like, you know, anything on the moister side is going to be much easier to eat. So as just a carb-based meal, like let's say, you know, maybe slam protein shake first, or eat 8 ounces of ground beef first, or whatever, or 6 ounces cooked, 50 grams of protein or something. Personally, instant oats, the fruit flavored variety, banana, peach, strawberry, blueberry. The blueberry is the best. So if you get a variety pack, save the blueberries for later, because I think they're my favorite. Those and the peach, they're all good. But it is so easy to eat 100 grams of carbs of oatmeal like that, especially sweetened. It's got some sugar. Like, it is pretty damn good. And 5 packs of that, I mean, I can make that disappear in like 2 minutes. That's what I did with that pre-workout carb meal last night. 5 packs, 170 grams of frozen fruits, like mixed berries, and then 40 grams of brown sugar. That was partially just because brown sugar tastes good, and I've got room for some extra carbs since today was going to be a leg day, and I wanted to be a little bit more carved up for it. But dude, that thing went down easy, you know. So that's my recommendation. I think we'll do I'll do a little cooking with Sam soonish. I'll add some bits in. Like next time I make that pre-workout carb meal, I'll just bring the camera into the kitchen with me, and I can break it down for you. The microwave is your friend as well if you've got trouble actually getting food down, because the last thing you want to do is turn cooking into a chore. Now, I'm not saying it is, but if you can go from, okay, take out a pot, step 1, fill it with water, step 2, let it boil, step 3, add oatmeal, step 4, okay, now pour all that into a different bowl, step 5, okay, now you got like 4 different dirty dishes, step 6. Or you just get a bowl, put the oatmeal into it with water, and microwave it. Well, I mean, you just cut your steps down from like 6 to 2, because you're not using different dishes or moving things around. Like, I'm not saying that that's that hard, but the simpler you can make your meal preparation, the quicker it's going to be from you to go from thought of this meal to actually executing it and eating it. Now, for somebody like me, where eating the food isn't really a problem, that's not so much of an issue for me. If I'm thinking, okay, I gotta eat something, then I don't care how many fucking steps it takes to get to it, it's gonna happen. But if you've got a problem getting meals down and actually eating enough food to see the scale change is messing with you, well then, simpler the better. Simpler the freaking better. So I'm gonna get home, get some fluids in my system. I'm freaking thirsty. I forgot to bring my jug. Actually, is it? Yeah, damn. Left my jug in here. No wonder I was freaking thirsty this morning. Or thirsty right now. I didn't have it filled up. Keeping a gallon jug on you is another good tip for anybody. Growing, bulking, cutting, maintaining. I mean, if I get 2 gallons of water in my day, I'm not saying that's totally necessary, but I can guarantee I'm fully hydrated, and then I'll end up having a really good lift. So, one last note before we get out of here. I keep thinking of different things, but now I'm just going off at a total ramble. But stay hydrated. If you're drinking a crap ton of water throughout the day, you will feel better in general, but your lifts will also feel a lot better. I'd rather do a workout after a full day fast from calories and food than I would a full day water fast, or be, as hydrated as the guy who only drinks like 2 energy drinks and a Coke Zero for his entire day. That would suck. So that's my ender. But hopefully your week's starting off well. This is going to be I guess this is going to be posted on Wednesday, not Monday. So I hope your week has already been going well, and then you finish it off even better coming into Friday. So if you've got warm weather, make damn use of it. But if it's a little chillier for you, depending on where you are, well, hopefully it gets warm soon. But that's my ender. I will see you tomorrow for some chest.